We're joined today by St. Joe's women's soccer head coach Michael Bolans for our women's soccer season preview interview. Coach, thanks for taking the time to sit with us. Coach, you've been going for about 2 weeks now in preseason.
Yeah.
Just talk about how everything's going so far, how the new players are looking, that kind of stuff.
It's been pretty smooth, actually. We added something this year. We actually took the group of team 25 players up to Point Lookout in Northport, Maine, right on the coast near Camden, and we spent a couple days working hard, training. We had some fitness sessions, we had some tactical sessions, and then we let the team have a little bit of fun up there. Walked through downtown Camden. We had a bowling night. It was an absolute blast for the team, and I think it actually brought the team closer together early on, which I thought was a really benefit for the program. Since then, we've been training hard to prepare for our first game coming up here on this Sunday against Regis, and things are looking good. At the beginning, at this point during the season, I think every team has high hopes and high intensity and high work rate, and then you see how it goes throughout the season. But I think we're all very excited at this point to get going.
Well, Coach, like you said, that's something new, bringing your team off site like that. Was that intended to be for that purpose, a team building kind of thing, or what was the thought process of doing that?
Yeah, I think so. That was probably the biggest reason for it, and I think it just all the pieces fell in place. They have a turf field there, so we were able to train on a turf field for a little bit. We'd have the field to ourselves, 24/7 if we wanted it to. The team got to stay in cabins, together, 8 in a cabin, so there was a lot of time for team bonding. And there was no distractions up there. It was just us and the team. So, it was on the field or doing something as a team or just relaxing in their cabin. So I thought it was the perfect kind of mix of all things to get prepared for this season.
No, a lot of other teams here get to do things like that. Basketball went to England, baseball is a spring trip, softball, things like that. It's kind of unique, and it definitely can pay dividends in the end for doing something like that.
I agree.
The GNAC preseason poll was released,
Yep.
and a lot of coaches will say it's as good as the paper is printed on. But ranked 8th in the preseason poll. Just give us your feelings on that ranking and.
I think it's pretty fair. We finished there last year. Eighth place playoff team. It's funny with this conference. I think on any given day, and I know this is cliche, but on any given day, any team can really beat any other team. And if you look at the standings from last year and the results of last year, it shows that. So I think anyone has just as good of a chance as anyone else in this conference. You're always going to have your teams that are up on the top, those middle-aged teams, and those teams that are slated to finish at the bottom, but there always seems to be some surprises in the GNAC, and that's what makes it so exciting and a good conference to be in. So,
and of course nobody knows what the other teams are bringing in, and that brings me to my next question about your newcomers this year, your freshman class. How are they fitting in, and how are they working out so far?
Yeah, no, I think we brought in another good class, another solid class. I was really comfortable and excited about the class we brought in last year, and I'm really excited about the class that we brought in this year. We have about six players right now on the roster. We have some other players that are training with the team that are all freshmen. I don't think they feel like they're freshmen anymore after the trip and being here for 2 weeks at this point. But I think quite a few of them are going to be able to come in and make an impact for us. We only lost 3 seniors last year and 1 true starter, but I think just the influx of freshmen, the influx of excitement, always brings something to the group. So I'm excited for the group that we have.
Returning players, including a second-team all-conference goalie Jackie Lorenzen, Jen Keeney, Jess Capozzi up top, and Casey Monahan, Danny Daigle. Just talk about their influence on the team, and then just another year of collegiate soccer under their belt, looking to have another great season.
Yeah, experience is huge. So, anytime that you have a player that's finished 1 year and is moving on to their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year, just that experience should make them better players. In Jackie's case, the goalkeeper, in this league and in soccer, you're only as good as your goalkeeper is. You know what I mean? And we're lucky enough to have a second, an all-conference goalkeeper leading the charge for us and anchoring our back line. So that's a benefit for us, a bonus. We just need to see her continue to improve. You still have this year with her and hopefully next year with us. So we're looking for big things from Jackie. Those other players that you mentioned, 3 of them are other captains. And at this point, juniors and seniors, they've had the experience of 2 years of college soccer, and you hope that they can take their game to the next level. Danny Daigle, another key returner for us, is only a sophomore. We missed her last year in the playoffs because of a concussion, but I just think she's ready to have a great year for us this year as well. So.
Now, looking at the roster on the website, you notice that just about every one of your players plays during the off season, and some of them are on very good teams. Talk about the importance of that for your program.
Yeah, well, soccer's turned into a year-round thing. You know, even when they're growing up, they're playing club soccer, they're playing premier soccer, they're playing ODP soccer. So I just think, you know, it's a real benefit to have the availability to play year-round. You know, we're lucky enough to have some indoor facilities close by that they'll join leagues in, or they'll be playing for, you know, some of them played for Seacoast this summer in a women's league, which I think was really helpful in their development. So we hope that those players continue to do that, both our local players and our players that come from other states, you know, because I think, you know, it, again, not to sound too cliche, but you know, the most work gets done in the off season. So the more times that they're playing soccer in that off season, I think the more we'll improve as a program come, you know, the time it's to start the season. So
now this senior group has seen kind of an interesting ride in their career. The first year, regular season GNAC champions, 9-1-2 in conference play. This is a tremendous year. Their sophomore year, they missed the playoffs. Obviously, a disappointment for all involved. And then last year, they make it into the playoffs as the 8 seed. What does this senior group bring to the table as far as that outlook and how they expect to close out their career?
Yeah, it goes back to what we were just talking about earlier with experience. Like, they've seen it all. You know, they've seen what it takes to go 9-1-1 in the conference, and they've seen what happens when, you know, things don't go our way and an injury might happen and we can't rally up, and then we kind of have that up and down type of season where we miss the playoffs. And then they also saw that the hard work that they put in, and you know, last year got them back into the playoffs. Maybe not exactly where they wanted to be, but they saw that it paid off. And I think that experience of those 3 years will hopefully pay off this year to where they know what it takes, you know what it takes to get to here and see what can happen if you don't do your homework and you don't do your work. So I think that's going to be a great lesson that they can put on to the younger players, and I hope they do that. But I think, you know, hopefully it's a benefit for us and we can take that next step, you know, in the playoffs.
Now, looking at your schedule, of course, you mentioned Regis here at home, the home opener, 1 o'clock on Sunday at Westerly Way Field. And then you have 3 other non-conference games before you get into the meat of your conference schedule. And some different names on your list of teams that you're playing this year. Green Mountain, Regis, of course, Maine Presque Isle. Let's kind of talk about how that schedule comes together and the composition of it, playing non-conference teams before your regular season.
Yeah, well, part of it is, you know, since we are such a large conference, it's hard to sometimes get those non-conference games, so you have to kind of see what's available for you. Some of those non-conference games this year's is, you know, reaching out to an old friend that, you know, we used to coach together, and if they want to play, we'll play them and go from there. So a little bit of a mixed bag with our non-conference games. You know, we obviously have the Thomases. You know, Presque Isle is new this year, but some of the local main teams that we'll try to continue to play. And then, you know, just some teams that we used to play a long time ago. You know, when we were an independent, it used to be Green Mountain and us always vying for that independent championship for the Northeast. So it's kind of a renewed rivalry with that college. So, you know, we're excited to add Regis as well to see what, you know, have them come up here. We're just lucky with a great schedule this year where we have, you know, quite a few more home games than away games as you look on the schedule. So.
Very much a home schedule this year. Regis on Sunday, and then just 4 days later you have Thomas College at home, and then a road game, and then 2 more home games. So very much early on in the season too, which will be good for a young team.
Yep.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks a lot for your time, and good luck this season.
Hey, no problem. Thank you.